11. And then away from that to the bottom of the newspaper, it said goods destroyed as fire got 10-story Lagos market building. For people who are conversant with Lagos Island, they call it Mandela's building. Another headline says NSCDC foiled 48 bandit attacks on schools. That's according to the Commandant General. Rightly beside that, Benin Ore Expressway, kidnappers freed my father after 3 million naira ransom. That's according to the Sun. And then finally, forensic probe all Ibadan blast to determine next action. Federal government. For more on that news, you find it on page 9 of the Punch newspaper, and that will be all.
Straight to the Vanguard newspaper. The main headline says, "Wrong time to fall sick in Nigeria as cost of medicine skyrocket." The writer says patients lament and skip medications and seek alternative treatment. It's on page 5. Another writer says experts worry and then propose urgent solutions. Another story still on the Vanguard newspaper says how abuse of ways and means worsens inflation. The writer says further rise expected in first quarter of 2024. Another writer says more controversy trails scrutinization of ways and means. Another writer says economists, analysts caution federal government over CBN Act. Another writer says it will take 40 years to resolve the problems. That's according to analysts. You find that story on page 5 of the Vanguard. There's another story that says how troops rescued Nabiha's sisters and others in Abuja kidnapped victim. That's on page 6 of the Vanguard. Third anniversary. Here's Energies celebrate significant milestone in operations. We expect citizens to challenge us over budget performance. That's according to Bagudu. You find that on page 15 on the Vanguard newspaper. And then Abuja Chamber of Commerce to Tinubu, inflation squeezing businesses, page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then finally on the Vanguard newspaper it says AFCON Super Eagles target Group A top sports. You find that on page 39 of the Vanguard newspaper.
And now moving on, still staying with our front page headlines. We're taking Daily Independent right now.
Headline on Daily Independent, her front page headline says, despite CBN's tightening stance, banks' credit rises to 59.7 trillion naira. For more on the story, you'll find it on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper. Another one says fire guts 10-story Mandela's building in Lagos, and that was read to you earlier. But of course, on Daily Independent, you find that story on page 6 of that newspaper. And now atop the Daily Independent, the headline here says, Sarah, others ask court to stop Akpabio Abbas from increasing NASA budget. That story precisely is on page, I think page 8 of the Daily Independent. Nigeria's oil output may dip as youths plan to shut down flow stations. Well, there's need for you to read that story, but the page is not really stated here. Another headline says Lagos government bans usage of styrofoam single-use plastics. That story is on page 29 of the Daily Independent. Another headline says Harris Energy celebrates a third anniversary with milestones in production growth others. That story you find on page 7 of the Daily Independent. Ibadan explosion. 90% of victims discharged from hospitals. And I was saying this, it is the governor of your state, Seyi Makinde, and you will get that story on page 6 of the Daily Independent. And now moving on, of course, below that very headline, it says Lagos orders travel medical practitioners to register businesses or face sanctions. For more on that story details, you find on page 6 of the Daily Independent. Well, I think this is a good one, both good and bad. At least the Trado Medicals have been calling for the need to be recognized, and this is what the Lagos State government is giving them now. So for Trado medical practitioners, you need to get this paper for more information on that story. Another headline says Ibadan explosion. Federal government awaits a forensic investigation outcome to take decision. That story is on page 6, talking about those who died at Ibadan. Another headline says, police rescue man abducted on Abuja highway. This for more details on the story, please check page 7 of the Daily Independent. Another major headline, still staying with front page headline, the Daily Independent. It says Tinubu backs two-state solution to end Israeli-Palestinian conflict. For more on the story, please check the Daily Independent. I think that story too is on page 7 of that newspaper. And that's all I can take on the Daily Independent newspaper.
All right, moving on to the Daily Trust. ACF rejects relocation of CBN, FAAN, that's FAN, Federal Airport Authority offices, from Abuja down to Lagos. And then the rider says mobilizes top northerners against move. So they're trying to tell the CBN to stop this movement, and then hopefully they will come to a conclusion. And then Nahiba's sister's freedom, police family disagree. Another writer says 16 passengers die in Zaria Kano highway crash. All right, so 16 passengers die in Zaria Kano highway crash. Electricity subsidy, federal government pays over 5 trillion naira in 10 years. And then finally, the 21st Daily Trust Dialogue, Edun, Ajero, others to analyze Tinubu's reforms. That will be on Thursday.
Straight to the Guardian newspaper. The main headline here says skepticism over inflation, insecurity, and economic outlook. The writer shows a chart of performance of selected African currencies against dollars in the past 1 year, and the naira has depreciated by 49%. That story is on page 6. Another story says court orders CBN to release MTN's fund repatriation details. That's on the news page, which is on page 5. And there's another story that says stop Akpabio Abbas from increasing budget, and that's according to SERAP, that tells the court. That story is on page 5 of the news page. There's another story here that says Lagos bans single-use plastic and styrofoam, and then warns against indiscriminate storage of combustible items. That story is on page 7. Leadership hurdles for opposition parties merger and then mega structure. It's on news analysis page 4. There's another story that talks about 50 billion naira properties lost in Ibadan explosion as government ends rescue operation. That story is on page 6 of The Guardian. Averting catastrophe of brain drain in the health sector is an editorial on page 12. Theft dropped by 82% as $1.2 billion oatmeal 17 production hits 40,000 BPD. That story is on page 3. Niger Delta youths to short flow stations, cuts crude oil output, page 20. Falana urges states to abolish pension payments to ex-governors, page 3. And that'll be all we'll be able to take for the Guardian newspaper.
All right, with that,
finally, of course, we'll bring to end the newspaper review segment. I hope that you'll be able to get one or two of these papers so that you can get yourself abreast of what exactly the stories are saying. I mean, you need the details. And like I said, there's a story, of course, on Daily Independent newspaper for travel medical practitioners. You need to get it to know what the governor of the state, of course, governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is saying about your registration. Because we want to embrace what is ours. It's not all the time we deal with orthodox medicines. I mean, let's get down to traditional medicines because they actually work, and that is the truth. So right about now, we will take a short break, and when we return, it will be time for us to look at our discussion segment. We'll be bringing our guest here to take a cursory look, of course, at FG NLC negotiations of the national minimum wage. What are the basic determinants of this very new national minimum wage? So we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. To stay. Some school of thoughts believe the major challenges confronting Nigeria as a nation is caused by poor leadership. How true is this? You and I can actually put government into tools to deliver the dividends of democracy. Join us every Saturday by 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Let us look at the issues confronting us as a nation. Together we talk heads. Nigeria can be great again. I'm Adenike Oweye Ajiboye. Keep it date.
What up, guys? How's your day going? How are you doing this? I want to believe that you're having fun, right? This bright and sunny day. You know that once you see this duo, on your TV screen, we're here to serve you some entertainment.
And of course, entertaining gist coupled with good music won't hurt anybody, right? So here on Super Lunch, we get to entertain you, educate you on recent happenings in the world of entertainment. I am your girl, Eva Grace.
And I am Shegun Delola Adeyemi, the Duke of your airwaves. You know how it is. We serve you good entertainment Mondays all through to Fridays. And that's how we do. We'll take you on a smooth ride of entertainment. So don't go nowhere. Join us every Mondays to Fridays. We love you guys.
There's no place for pretense. I can't watch you stand there. Oh no.
Ó ta lẹ́nu, ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu, ó dùn lẹ́nu. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, ó ta lẹ́nu, ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu, ó dùn lẹ́nu. Yusuf Mọ́rúnsọ́lá ni orúkọ ti tèmi Funky ọmọ ẹ̀lẹ̀ tó gbásìkì tó dùn tó kí tó yí gbogbo. Ẹ pàdé mi ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Thursday 8:30 to 9:30 àti gbogbo ọjọ́ Saturday 1 to 2 fún ètò tó ga jù. Ẹ má miss ẹ̀, ó ga jù lẹ́tò. Ẹ pàdé mi, ó ṣàprápra.
Lẹ́nu ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu ó dùn lẹ́nu. Come on, I cannot do.
Welcome to Naija Plus. Make you not touch that there, make your finger for no. Wetin be your plan for your country, and wetin you sef want make your country do for you. You need to give something before you take something. Now the only way matter fit balance. No be say fowl no plan to fly you, but the power no carry am. As matter dey shele for inside Naija, make you sef chook your mouth, make we build our country. No be every time we go talk things bad. Come out for that corner before mosquito bite your tortoise. Oya, e get as e happen for your area and you want make plenty eyes see am, make you hear am, make you for reach authority. You get video of the scene? Send am sharp sharp. Before I forget, now top super screen we dey and my name na Mr. Peace, that MC with a biggie swag. Naija na for everybody. Make you not touch that there, make your finger for no.
Reach to the sky, ladies and gentlemen.
Demand attitude.
I am Salahuddin.
Demand excitement. Demand action.
Well, it's so glad to have you back. It's the Water 5 Morning Show on Super Screen Television. Yes, so these are discussion segments, and like we told you earlier, we are looking at the new national minimum wage. And this time around, we are specifically looking at what should be the various factors. I mean, the major determinants of the new national minimum wage. We are aware that the cost of living has, of course, increased. Prices of food are skyrocketing on a daily basis at our market. You want to talk about transportation? I mean, the transportation fare has also increased significantly, and this is part of the reason why a lot of Nigerians are getting very angry. But should this be the way forward, or for us to get government to doing what exactly is right? And now, as we speak right now, the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, of course, ahead of the negotiation between the NLC and the federal government, they've already, put strategy in motion to finding out what the standard of living, I mean, the cost of living is in such a way that it is in tandem with what government will be bringing to the table. Now, this time around, I think even members of the National Assembly will also be involved in this very negotiation. And this is where we are. Our guest, of course, will be joining us. It's a lawyer. It's a labor lawyer, Paul Omojiade. Paul Omojiade will help us look at this. What should be the major factors that, of course, the federal government should consider? But before we, of course, join Paul Omojiade, well, let's, of course, discuss this with my colleagues. Gentlemen, what do you people make out of this? Of course, right now, what the federal government is trying to do is to ensure that they pay the 35,000 naira minimum wage, they increase it to by 5,000 then based on the NLC strike. NLC went to strike that they're demanding increase in national minimum wage. So what the federal government is doing now, and they say they're going to pay it, of course, for 4 months. So as it stands now, government, the 4 months is going to end January, February, March. It's going to end by March. So the new national minimum wage is, of course, expected to take effect. Now, whether this is going to be an April Fool kind of a thing, time will tell. Okay, gentlemen, our guest, let's now join our guest. He joins us virtually from Lagos, Paul Omojiade. Good morning, Paul Omojiade. Paul Omojiade, good morning to you. There's a challenge with the network. It seems Paul Omojiade is freezing there, but of course we'll keep doing our best to ensure that we get this right. Once the network is good, we'll be able to connect with him. So, gentlemen, here we are. I hope the payment of our new national minimum wage by April 1st will not be welcoming April Fool for all Nigerian workers. What do you make out of this?
I don't think that would be the case, but then my worry is, will the NLC be able to convince the federal government to increase this minimum wage by a reasonable amount, not 2,000, not 5,000, because I mean you should be able to save parts of your salary at the end. Be able to save something, no matter how little. But with the way it is now, even if they have 5,000 to that 35, making it 40,000, you cannot save anything.
Even how much is 35,000 to start?
Do you understand?
That's not even up to, maybe let's say it's now the amount of half bag of rice as it stands. So what would a worker make out of that when you talk about your transportation, you talk about wardrobe? In fact, let me just say civil servants don't really buy clothes like that because...
But civil servants eat. Okay. Now they go to the booker. There's something I found out, was it on Friday or Saturday, I discovered that when you go to booker to buy food, a spoon of rice that originally used to be 50 naira, 20 naira, is now 200. I was shocked.
Oh yes.
When I discovered, I'm like, what?
Don't be shocked.
I think with the current economic situation, economic situation, if the minimum wage is 100,000 naira, it's not. I mean, it's not a big deal because people are going through a lot. Looking about transportation, accommodation, feeding. You understand? School. A lot of parents and families are going through a lot, and it is perturbing to hear the government talking about adding 5,000 naira to what we already have. I mean, it just shows that you don't prioritize the people. Negotiation should start from 50,000 naira, and then the organized labor should be looking at ending at 100,000. Between 50 and 100, they should try and hit that benchmark, not below 50.
If the leadership of the organized labor, I will start from 100
because now our leaders, they know how to say there is no money. You know how much we're paying? We're paying 5 trillion naira to subsidize electricity. We're paying this to subsidize this. Yet, they will increase their budget. National Assembly, increase their budget. Sitting allowance. Hardship, the most annoying one is hardship allowance.
Who should be getting hardship allowance? Should it be them or all the citizens?
I'm confused.
Okay, you know what? What the president is actually saying now is that they're also looking at what is implementable. Ahead of the discussion, they are looking at what is implementable and not just what the Nigerian Labour Congress wants. But the question is the very government, when they were going to remove subsidy, did you think about how other states are generating their revenue, or how the people will be able to bear it? None of this was really considered. And so I believe that going to the negotiation table, just like you have said, they should begin the negotiation from 100,000. Because the truth of the matter is, when you now talk about the medicals of these civil servants or of workers, you don't even want to know the amount, how high medicines are right now.
You know, and that might be another blessing in disguise, right?
Yeah, for
because
the Orthodox.
okay. Yes.
For the traditional medicines.
These medications are quite expensive and they are not affordable. Everybody look for alternative. And the alternative is to go tradomedical, right? You use herbs for because there is, for every illness, there is a herbal medication that can tackle it.
Yes, exactly.
You understand? So if we focus in that light, in that
looking inward,
you understand, then we'll be able to say, yes, this and this and this comes from Nigeria. When people from outside the country realize that, look, we don't have to be taking this chalk. I call it chalk. I'm sorry. I call it chalk. Coated chalk. Coated film. Look, they don't have to go this route. I mean, we have natural herbs that you can use. We can start exporting, and from that, we'll generate.
How will government officials go for medical?
And that's another problem. Yeah.
So they need to travel to
Okay, gentlemen, and for the benefit of our viewers, let me read what the president said. Precisely, this was an exclusive he had with some journalists. December, this is it. President Bola Tinubu says that his government is discussing with the Nigerian labor unions to agree on minimum wages that will be fair and implementable by the 36 state governments in the country. Tinubu revealed this in an exclusive interview with a newspaper, stated that his government is taking into account the financial health of the states before deciding on the new minimum wage that would be applicable across all sectors nationwide. He said, and I quote, "I understand the concerns regarding the unveiling of the new minimum wage and how states will manage these changes, especially those with fewer resources. To address this, my administration has approved a provisional increase in the federal minimum wage to 35,000 naira per month for a 6-month period, 2 months of which have already been paid. Of course, this was in December. I read on. This decision follows extensive consultation with the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and Trade Union Congress (TUC) in managing the situation with the states. We are working closely with them to ensure the new wage structure is practical and sustainable. It's important that each state's unique financial situation is considered. We are focused on strategies to help states strengthen their economies, considering factors like tax efficiency and economic diversification. We are committed to ongoing dialogues with labor unions and state governments. This collaborative approach is crucial to ensure that the new minimum wage is fair, reasonable, and implementable across all states. Our goal is to balance the economic well-being of our workers. Please take note, gentlemen. Our goal is to balance the economic well-being of our workers with the overall financial health of the nation. We ask Nigerians to be rest assured that our administration will not rest until we have delivered a sustainable solution in the best interest of Nigerians.
First thing, I just hope all of this is not initial After 1 year or 1.5 years, they may want to soften their pedal and then everything now become worsened. You understand? So first thing, I think federal government, what they should do, they should have a federal owned cooperatives in every state. So each state has the chapter. Look, the burden, people can say, okay, you know what, I don't want to live in this area, this region, because it's expensive. Let me pull inward, right? So which is less. Same thing. Right? So if they have cooperative everywhere, chapter in each state, so you bear the cost of transportation of the goods from the farm.
All right, Shebu, let me hold you on your thoughts. We now join our guest, Paul Omojede, joins us now virtually. Paul Omojede, good morning to you. This is U45 morning show. This morning, we just need to hear from a labor lawyer. I mean, because these are people who understand well the plight of the workers. I mean, we don't need to bring sentiments to the table. And let me also tell you that, of course, the NLC too, they are already carrying out their own investigation in such a way that they go and check what the cost of living is. And, you know, they bring papers, you know, they support this with evidence to present to the federal government. And I think that's a good one that they're doing. So, Shegun, continue with you.
So, like I said, so if the federal government bear the burden of transportation, right, that means nobody in any market would say, because of transportation, that's why we're increasing the prices of these commodities, because federal government has taken care of transportation. So you can actually give us at face value. Give us, if a derica of rice is let's say 300, it should be 300 because you're not paying for transportation, right? Federal government has taken care of that. So you give us at the rate of 300, and at the rate of 300, Nigerians will be able to afford it, and it will ease the burden on the people.
Okay, Solomon.
Well, I'll continue.
Okay, I think we have Paul. Paul Omojede, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Morning show. They can't really hear us well. We can see you, Paul Omojede, but you don't seem to be hearing what we are saying. But we'll not give up, because the focus this year, the slogan is no grease. So Paul Omojade, we are not going to agree for this very network. We have to keep trying our best to connect with you because we need to hear you speak. This is an issue on the front burner and we need you to talk as a lawyer. Solomon.
The battle of minimum wage in Nigeria started way back during the Shehu Shagari administration. That was in 1981. And the truth is, since the commencement of minimum wage negotiations, it has not been easy. The government has not really bowed to the pressure of the labor union, so we might just expect another, struggle. And that's what the labor guys are saying. That look, if you've promised these people a renewed hope, then looking at the current situation, the increase in PMS, subsidy removal, cost of goods and services, the dollar to naira rate.
Some vehicles use AGO.
Some vehicles right now.
Yeah.
Diesel. Now the price.
Yes, that's right. Diesel. Sure.
These are what we're talking about. So the need for a reviewed minimum wage is no longer a thing of the Labour Congress alone. You have to, show empathy to the plight of the people, and that's why the government would have to really sit this one out. It's not an issue of back and forth. The people need to be elevated from poverty. The last time I think maybe during the weekend, the price of a naira to a dollar was 133 or 35 thereabout.
1,350
this weekend.
So if you do that times 30 days, that's 350 naira.
As your monthly salary.
You understand? So as compared to the advanced nations, so the government would really need to work on this one. And I love the fact that the Nigerian Labour Congress, they are all out for this. They have our support. We just hope that the poverty in the land, plight of the people, will prioritize sentiments and political, whatever aggrandizement. That's my take on
this.
Right.
Very quickly, Richie, what the Nigerian Labour Congress is doing at the moment. Ahead of the new minimum wage negotiations, organized Labour plans to demand wages based on the cost of living and other socio-economic indices across the country. Of course, this came as the federal government promised to clear arrears of the 35,000 wage award owed its workers. According to reports gathered, Labour has been working round the clock to ensure that its wage demand can hardly be faulted by both government and private sector employees. According to sources, organized labor demand will be guided and determined by the cost of living and other socio-economic parameters across the country. Consequently, to ensure that labor's demand is data-based instead of sentiments, NLC has directed its state councils nationwide to collate the cost of living data in towns and local government areas in states. To source such data, NLC has designed a data collection form for local governments and towns. And this they made available in a circular dated January 17, 2024. And this was sent, of course, to the state councils titled National Minimum Wage Negotiation Data Collection Urgent Action Required. NLC's General Secretary Emmanuel Ubuaja wrote, he said, as we gear up for the forthcoming negotiations on the new national minimum wage, it is crucial that we gather accurate and comprehensive data on the average cost of living across the nation. State councils of the NLCs have been identified as key players in this essential task. Now, this is my worry. The government is saying that what they want to give. Okay, we have our guest again. Paul Omojade, good morning to you. Beautiful. Thank you for not accepting this poor network. That's been making it pretty difficult for us to connect with you. And now, this will be the first question to you, Barrister Paul Omojade. As a labor lawyer, ahead of the negotiation between the federal government and the Nigeria Labour Congress on a new national minimum wage, what do you make out of this? And basically, what do you think should be the major determinant of the new national minimum wage? Did you hear your question? Paul, can you hear me?
Oh, wait. So what will happen? We're supposed to be on one program. It's not. It's not. I've used the link to enter, but
because it seems it's not really getting us well. But this is the question, if you're able to, connect with him behind cameras. The question is, how would you react to the new national minimum wage ahead of the negotiation between the federal government and the NLC? So now, gentlemen, this is my worry. When the national minimum wage was increased to 30,000 naira, many of the state's governments still struggle to pay. As a matter of fact, the federal government is also struggling to pay the new national minimum wage award, which was the 5,000 naira increase it's added. Because it is just now, this is how many months down the lane, the federal government is just trying to pay all of that minimum wage award. Do you then think that they can be fair in the new national minimum wage if they are still struggling, or is it a ploy? Because I'm just thinking, could it be that it's just a ploy to act as if the money is not there? Let's act like we're struggling to pay, so that at the end of the day we have strong position to justify inability to pay 50 and beyond.
Of a truth, the money is not there, right? At this moment, the money is not there. But there's always a way. If there's a will, there's a way. Now, the senators do not need luxury vehicles. They don't need 10 SUVs. One senator wants to move from point A to point B, and you're seeing 10
convoy cars.
The convoy, and it's not just car. It's not what is it called? They are SUVs. They are SUVs of
exotic cars.
200 million, 150 million. They don't need that. They don't need more than 2-3 cars. I remember during the period of Fashola, at times he will be going on the highway and just 3 vehicles.
Well, Shego, for me, I think I would disagree with you saying that the money is not there. The money is there.
Exactly.
The money is there. I think the people are not being prioritized.
Yeah, you know why I said the money is not there? Because they've wasted it already. They are lavishing the money already. So if they can cut down on their own expenses, they will have enough money to. Because now, if you look at 50 million Nigerians times 5,000 naira, you will understand that that's a lot of money. You understand? But if they can cut down their own expenditure, then it will be easier for them to say, okay, we can fulfill this 50,000 naira minimum wage.
Well, I think the government can implement this one. Looking at, like you said, if they are able to cut down on excesses, in government. We've always talked about the fact that governance is too expensive,
yes,
expensively run in Nigeria, more than any other country in the world. So if the government can do that, because again, the people, they are priority, because the need of the people is priority, because the Nigerian worker has to be motivated. They are giving up on the government currently, and for you to truly renew their hope, I think the government should be able to say this one out. You know, the parameters here and there should be looked into, working with the NLC. I think they can pull this one off, you know, but again, like you said, it might not be easy if they decide to still keep up with their expensive and lavish lifestyle. But if they decide to prioritize the people and truly look at the plight of the people, I cannot be earning 35,000 naira and be paying school fees of 120,000 naira for my children. I cannot be earning 35,000 naira and be paying rent of over 300, 400,000 naira. I cannot be earning 35,000 naira and be buying a bag of rice for 60,000 naira. So they have to be realistic.
You earning 35,000 naira and those people earning 500 million naira, you buy the same rice.
The same
no,
product.
you don't buy the same product, because I was about telling you, Solomon, when you're saying you're buying rice of 60,000 naira, I wanted to tell you that even the rice you're buying at 60,000 naira is a low quality rice.
Can imagine.
Yes, it's a low quality rice. If you really want to buy rice, I mean, talking about all this, I'm trying to remember basmati rice. No,
nobody.
Even the long grain is beyond the 60,000 you're talking about. So this is even short grain rice.
So now, you go to the market. They don't go themselves. So they send one maid. That one goes there. We sit down in the same market, buy the same thing. Adas puts in the vehicle, takes home, and you are struggling to pay for that. You do the same thing. I mean, come on.
Now, in looking at all this, for me, I think the determining factor of the new national minimum wage should actually be based on the cost of living. And the cost of living at the moment is high. And government needs to come to terms with the reality, the harsh reality facing workers. After all, these workers also work for the gross domestic product. I mean, the GDP you have, if workers aren't working, you won't be talking about what you have.
Sure.
So now it's either if they say, because government, the way they're saying it now, they want to look at what can be implementable around the 36 states of the federation. The 36 states of the federation do not generate the same IGR.
Absolutely.
So if it is possible, it is based on the states. Let this minimum wage be fixed based on the revenue generated by the states, and should be determined by the cost of living.
True.
Talking about feeding, talking about rent, talking about clothing, school fees, and what have you. Because even the government schools now, it's not a joke. Absolutely. I was trying to find out, for you to get admission via DLI into the University of Lagos, they pay a whopping 200,000 naira. Now, you've not talked about all the costs that comes with it. The school fee entrance is 200,000 naira. Now, in OOU, I have a girl that just got admission into that school. She said to study economics, they're looking at 300,000 naira as school fees per semester. So what are we talking about? The truth of the matter is, I think there is more to be done when it comes to investigation on how civil servants are able to send their children to universities, to higher institutions. Because I now begin to also wonder how government is really serious about fighting corruption. Are we being truthful to ourselves, or we are just working in denial, or we are just working indecent? Because as far as I'm concerned, what I see here is a government working in deceit.
Nigga, and you say the policeman on the road is collecting bribe.
So why would he?
Why will he not collect bribe?
When he's being paid how much? He's going to stay under the sun. What about his health? The truth of the matter is, if he collapses there, that ends it. Yeah. That ends it. So the government, you will not be, the only way you can tell us you're serious about your corruption war is only when the national minimum wage is something to write home about, and also a good take home. Because when we say take home, it should be something that a worker takes and he smiles, he's happy to wake up early in the morning and run to work.
So in the US, in the UK, in Western countries, advanced world, they do per hour, right? Your wages per hour. So you earn $25 per hour, you earn $10 per hour. I think the least I've seen is $5 per hour, right? So you do 10 hours per day, $5 per hour, 10 hours per day, that's $50 in one day. Our minimum wage is not up to $50.
That's just true encouragement of hard work.
Do you understand? So now if what they make in one day in the US is more than what we make in 30 days in Nigeria. And then you're telling us that they buy fuel in the US higher than what we buy here.
Is it the same? Are we spending the same currency?
Thank you.
We spending the same currency. Now, let me tell you, based on what on Chegu's submission, talking about the need for government to cost its cost. I remember that the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry recently commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the reduction of his entourage, and they specifically said that all the parastatals should take a lead from that. Yeah. Now, let me just read that to you. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry (LCCI) acknowledges President Bola Tinubu's recent decision to reduce the entourage size for both domestic and international travel by 60%. For them, the move is seen as a decisive step to curb excessive travel spending and align with the need for financial prudence in the management of public funds. The austerity measures extend to all federal ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as the offices of the president, vice president, and the wives of both officials. I think if all government officials can reduce their cost of... Okay, hello, Paul Omojade.
Hello, I'm on the line.
Oh, thank God we finally connect with you. We can see you saying, we can see you communicating, and we just cannot hear your voice, but it's fine now that we can hear you. Okay. Thank you for following the slogan of 2024. I know go green. All right, Paul, let me quickly go straight to the point. The question is, ahead of federal government and the Nigeria Labour Congress negotiations for a new national minimum wage, what do you think should be major determinants of this very new national minimum wage?
It's okay. The agitation for the minimum wage arose from the recent hike. That was the hike in the price of petroleum products, especially PMS, after the inauguration of the present regime. I call it hike because in the first place, a discussion for another day, there was nothing like subsidy. When you are looking at the minimum wage, you discover if
can you hear me? Please, can you shift back a bit? Good. We can see you. Okay. More. Okay. No. Tilt towards the good. Okay. This is fine. This is good.
Yeah. Are you okay?
No. Shift to the middle. Come to the center. To the middle. Oh. Okay. All right. No. Not too much. Okay. Right on, please.
Yeah. What I said. That impact negatively on the take-home pay of the worker or the paid employees. One, you look at the cost of production, for example, has shot up the price of commodities, even services. And when you are looking at the cost of production, you look at the energy cost. The hike in the price of PMS has shot up the production cost. So that aspect, even if you increase the salary tomorrow, you discover that there will be some negative impact also. And the next thing you look at is the exchange rate management. It is a sound economic policy, or it's known that for you to float your currency, you must be an export-oriented economy. Nigeria is not an export-oriented economy, and we are floating the exchange rates. these are some variables you look at, not necessarily increasing the minimum wage from maybe 30,000 to 500,000. If the exchange rate, foreign exchange rate policy is not addressed, and also the energy cost is not addressed, you discover that whatever wage is available any worker today will be nothing tomorrow. In the advanced economies, you have the index. You look at the rate of inflation and also adjust the wages of the workers appropriately. But you discover that in terms of statistics and data gathering in Nigeria, there is serious deficiency. We are not efficient in that area. And to that extent, it's necessary, it's mandatory for wages to increase on account of the recent hike in the pump price of PMS. Although that area was not properly interrogated by the leadership of the labor centers themselves. How did you arrive at the pump price you are paying in the various filling stations? There was need to interrogate that issue further to arrive at an acceptable and fair price for the pump price of PMS. But be that as it may, like I said, they need to boost the economy. If you boost the economy, then the industries will produce more. And where there's increase in production, it will reflect positively in the take-home of the worker, because labor productivity will definitely increase. So the bottom line is that we should not take the issue of minimum wage in isolation. You cannot compartmentalize it. You must put it in proper context vis-a-vis exchange rate management, the cost of production, especially the energy costs. And the government on its own may take a holistic approach by looking at alternative energy source. Those are some of the things. The economy, for it to produce, there must be synergy between our institutions of higher learning, the universities, the polytechnics, or the user, the final user of the product of these institutions. Research are done and they are not turned out to the industry and all the rest of them. You discover that the best to the society will be very minimal. So that's my own position for now. Yeah.
All right. You've talked about the need for foreign exchange rate policy to be addressed. What other indices would you also consider for adjustment of workers' wages?
Yeah. If also the transport system, we have heard it right from Babangida. Anytime they want to increase the pump price of fuel, they said they are going to put vehicles on the road and all that. You discover that that is only begging. They need to adopt this approach because our public transport system is highly efficient, and they need to start looking ahead, because the situation will become chaotic in the next 5 years or more. So they need to adopt a long-term approach. There must be efficient public transport system. And I think if they are able to at the end point that takes a lot from the wages of the worker, then they will to cushion the effect as far as this economic situation we find ourselves. in Nigeria today is concerned. Yeah. I think I stopped there.
Okay, now let's look at this very negotiation. As it stands, the Nigeria Labour Congress already are collating indices that will determine increase in the new national minimum wage. And of course, precisely in December, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came out to say that they will ensure that the minimum wage they have is such a way that it is implementable. Do you see the federal government and the NLC, talking or meeting at an equilibrium, reaching a consensus in this matter? And when you also look at it from the history of payment of national minimum wage, a lot of times these governors always fail in this responsibility. They are unable to pay as at when due. As we talk, some governors are not still paying that 30,000 naira minimum wage. What's your take?
Yeah, the issue of minimum wage, you discover that the issue of employment and all that is under the exclusive legislative list, which is reserved for the federal government. But no, we operate a federal system where the states also have a say. In collective bargaining, before you go into negotiation, there are mandates. Both the state governors and the federal government, they need to constitute their negotiating team. And that team must be given the appropriate mandate. And the negotiators must have the capacity to commit the government. And at the end of the day, whatever is arrived at must be respected by the government, because it's one of the cardinal principles in collective bargaining that must be implemented in that form. If there's any reason unable to, must go back and resolve any area of conflict. Whether there will be area of convergence or equilibrium is a different thing altogether, because when you are going into negotiation, the parties must have an open mind, and the parties should be ready to share information. If they are to share information and the government is able to take the labor, this is how far we can go, because there is usually a band. Don't go beyond this, and the other one say you must go. You must not go below this position. Once that is achieved, and the parties bargain in good faith and not in bad faith, I think they will be able to manage the issues arising from negotiation as far as the minimum wage is concerned. Yeah.
Of time, but Omojade, I'm just going to ask you this last question. The question is, I won't be surprised that when they go to the negotiation table, definitely they might disagree with one another, and words would know that we come out of that will now be another protest. Calling for protest on the part of the Nigeria Labour Congress. What's your take on how we can avoid unnecessary protest, and what would be your advice to both parties as they go into negotiation?
Yeah, the issue of disagreement is always there, because the interests of the government and labor, they are not totally the same. You must recognize that labor I'm referring to the unions now, that is always in agreement with management or the government has ceased to be a trade union. There must be a disagreement. But whether the disagreement is there or not, the management of the agreement is another thing. Strike should be the last resort. It should be the last resort. But at the same time, government should not adopt the attitude of you either take it or you leave it. In collective bargaining, we say that all parties are equal. There is no superior partner in the negotiating team. And once the parties recognize that fact and respect the viewpoints of the negotiators or the labor centers, and the labor also recognize the precarious position of with regard to the state of the economy, then it will be able to strike a balance. But when you look at the state of the economy, there's a lot of wastages, leakages, and all that. That flamboyant style of government and all those things should be looked into, so that labor will genuinely believe that government is in a very poor financial state. But the income so far that accrue from the hike in the price of petroleum product have put a lot of money into have increased the revenue profile of the state government, and the idea of saying I will not be able to pay to me will not arise. But they should constitute a well informed negotiating team with the requisite mandate to be able to commit the government, and at the end of the day they will be able to respect the outcome of those of the negotiation at the minimum wage is concerned. Yeah.
Thanks to you, Paul Omojade, for sharing your thoughts with us this morning ahead of the new national minimum wage negotiation between the federal government and, of course, the Nigeria Labour Congress. Many thanks, and do have a beautiful day.
You say what?
Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Hello. It's all right. Thank you.
And speaking with Paul Omojade. Paul Omojade is a legal practitioner, precisely a labor lawyer, and has been able to help us look at the negotiations between the federal government and, of course, the Nigeria Labour Congress, which will be coming up any moment. And then again, he has said that there is need for them to look at long-term approach because he posits that the situation will be chaotic in the next 5 years. Is also calling for the need for uniformity in the price, in the pump price of fuel, and many others. Talking about how government can also subsidize school fees more. These are many of what thoughts that he shared with us. So right about now, quickly, let's go into hash trends and hashtags. This will be led by Shegun. Shegun, what's happening? The gist time.
Yes. All right. So quickly, we'll be discussing about kidnapping, insecurity in the country, and then in the one of the dailies we talked about the styrofoam plastic, the one-time use. That's the what do they call it? Takeaway plastic, right? That's what we call takeaway plastic. So now, federal government or Lagos state government rather bans that in the state, within the state, because they realize that some of our drainages, this is thing that is causing
occupied by all these.
So the surface, when you look at the drainage,
on the surface, that is all you just be saying. It's different colors, so they want to ban it. I think it's a good development. But then, you know, this is the cheapest when people go to restaurant, eateries to buy stuff. Buka, go to the Buka to buy food, right? It is this.
That's the most affordable takeaway pack.
But the thing is, see, the question is, why is government banning it? Are there no other ways or other avenue or things to consider? Why not ensure that you have dustbins everywhere? Why not ensure that those using them, there's a way that they dispose them? Look at the universities. If you move at most universities, there are trash cans at almost you walk to
few kilometers.
You are seeing them there, and then you also drop them there neatly.
That's the organized environment.
We have Loma in Lagos State. Why not ensure that they're also clearing the gutters?
Okay, so
if it takes employing more people, employ. Do you know what Lagos is generating as IGR? So what does it take them to employ more people to be clearing all of these drainages?
Now the problem is they hardly clear our drainages. Yes, they hardly do that. And then when you go to bus stops, right? When you go to bus stops, all this agbero, they buy, they eat. They drop it there, they match it, they step on it.
Okay.
Another person comes, he buys, eats, and drops it.
But we have cleaners. Why can't they clean? Shebu, do you know this is the business of some people? Some people now will be out of business because you're doing this. And see, this is my concern.
And it's the cheapest for people.
For people now, looking at the economy, the truth of the matter is, see, I feel that it is high time that government began to consider the feelings of its citizens. You understand me? You can't just come just because you have the money and your people have the money to purchase it and say you are banning it. What about the students going to school? What about primary school students? Many of them these days, their parents don't cook at home.
Yes,
this is what they use, they buy, and they, okay, no problem. If it's banning this, will they also buy nylon bags? Will the government also buy nylon bags? Because don't forget, if you can't buy food in days, people use nylon bags. So when you now see all of these leather bags everywhere, will you also ban nylon bags? Would you also say that if there are accidents on the roads, because of that you ban driving or you ban cars? I feel that this is a harsh decision and should not even be. It's not appropriate.
I agree with you, Nike, because like you talked about the plastic bag. If you look at our drainages, you not only find plastic bags, you find plastic bottles, you find sachets, plastic, you find a whole lot of stuff. So let's not use the fire brigade approach to this. It can be fixed. We should ensure that we have more cleaners on our roads. We should ensure that we have more people employed into Loma. We shouldn't just, Shegun, the plastic plates that is being used for food, you know that is expensive, 200 and above. That's in the cheapest restaurant. This is the one
that restaurant you pay 500.
You understand? This is the one that most people can afford.
I think
so. For government to be planning a ban, to me, it is insensitive.
It's not that they're even planning. They are bandits. They don't even care about what you feel and our feelings. And I think this is bad.
Now, Lagos State government.
Thiago, please let's go because of time. Can we just go to the next on gist of what's trending?
So over the weekend, what was his name? Moses Bliss talked about how he met his wife. You understand? Because so over the weekend, not just Moses Bliss and then Kunle Remi, they tied off.
It was all loving. It was a lovely weekend.
So someone said, modesty is the glory queen wrap themselves in. Modesty is the glory queens wrap themselves in. And Minister Moses Bliss found himself a queen. That is modesty 1, nudity 0. Meaning it is modesty that is leading. Modesty 1, nudity 0. Someone now responded, you people should stop this stupid hype. He's a church boy, a chorister. Do you expect him to marry Miss DSF or Bob Risky? Now, underneath, DSF, the Miss DSF, that's Dr. Shola Fabson, now responded, stray bullets everywhere. Like, what is that offense?
Okay, well, for me, what I'm going to say is congratulations to Moses Bliss. And I saw all of the different opinions flying on social media. People have been calling out on indecent dressing. Some people have even talked down on makeup just because his bride, doesn't wear makeup. And plus, Nigerians went online to dig out pictures of the same lady wearing makeup, and all of that. You see, for me, makeup or no makeup, these are not the determinants of a beautiful woman, of a godly woman. It has to do with, number one, a relationship with her maker, and then her love to humanity. So Nigeria should not body shame or what's it called, makeup shame people or whatever.
Besides, there's a Bible, there's a scripture that says that behold, all things have passed away and they have become new. You are the pastor now.
Okay, well, I don't want to go into theology.
What I'm trying to say is, yes, maybe she was living in the world then. All of these pictures that they went to dig out and everything. But the truth of the matter is, this is her present state. This is who she is. So why are we still talking about it?
No, the point is, Nigerians are saying that this is how a woman should look like, and they are talking down on women who wear makeup. So that's what I'm trying to correct. That look, a woman is beautiful with or without makeup. Her not wearing her makeup is her choice.
Makeup is even is an enhancement.
That
so,
is it.
And
So
depends
it's a
on the kind of
choice.
job you do, for God's sake. Like, is it by that? There are some 1,000 among women not wearing makeup, and you don't want to know what they are made up of.
Exactly.
So it's not about the facial look.
Away from that, and then this one says police parade 16 notorious kidnappers responsible for terrorizing Abuja. Police parade notorious. Are you supposed to parade kidnappers, notorious kidnappers? You're parading them. So after parading them, what next?
Well, prosecution should be the next move, okay? And of course, there's already they're even having clashes between both the army, and while the police said the army is claiming that they are the one that did it. But whatever it is, what we are interested in is how Abuja becomes peaceful again, and every other state becomes very peaceful.
So now there's a twist to this. The headline says kidnappers didn't invade River Park Estate in Abuja. He said man faked his own kidnap to defraud his family.
Oh, so that's it. I think it's the economic situation that is making people take a different routes to making money. Well, this is just an appeal to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his cabinet to ensure that they really rekindle that hope, because we are looking forward to this renewed hope in such a way that people are not also, faking their own kidnap just to make money or milk their family members. Well, Shegun and the viewers, unfortunately, is all we can take on what's trending. Right about now, we take a short break for Sporting 201 Go to quickly give you updates in the sporting world. So do not go away. We have taken this time. That's what I was saying. Yay, 4 minutes. So I hope Joel is not angry.
Yeah, so glad to have you back. It's still the U45 morning show. Yes, Nigeria is playing today, AFCON 2023, and here is Sporting Joe 1K with all of the updates. Ciao.
That will qualify in that group. I just hope we don't qualify by best loser, but that's always that's the trend in Nigeria. Always been competition here and there. But Guinea-Bissau don't have any points. Nigeria is working on 4 points, and all over 3 points. Equatorial Guinea on 4 points. Who are top of the group? Time to tell. 6 p.m. later today. And Musayo returned back to England for treatment because he was injured in the last game and against Ghana. And he's back in England to continue his treatment, but the coach said he might come back if Egypt qualifies for the final. Yeah, and a lot is happening right now in the AFCON. He's back in England and for treatment. We just hope he gets better to come back to the AFCON. But he said if Egypt qualifies for the final, he will come back to play. And now to the home front, the MPFL just finished the first stanza, and Lodi Stars is topping the table. You have Remo Stars, Eyimba, and Roma United. And the drop goal for the Lagos, Leicester United will be that means 19 on the past 8 games. So Stephen Stars start later in the day. Anyway, that's it for sports. Shegun, Nigeria is playing later today. What happened?
Well, like I always say, Nigeria will win. You understand? The match against Cote d'Ivoire, I said it. I said, look, these Ivorians are good, I know, but Nigeria will still come victorious. And we did. You understand? So this match, we're winning this one by 5 goals to 1.
You wish. The same wishes are horses, the beggars would ride. Well, all I want to tell you is that the flying goose will indeed fly. Most likely it's going to be a 1-0 match. Well, that's my own take.
1-0.
1-0. Nigeria's going to have one. Yes, Nigeria's going to have one. No. Okay, let's watch and see. But that's my prediction. So let's see how that goes.
Because your Eagles, they don't score much goals. Fair enough. I'm just some few AFCON facts for all of the studio. 65 goals in the AFCON, still 3 yellow card and 4 red card. Among those 65 goals, Nigeria just scored 2 goals.
So what are we talking about? So Shegun, stick with me.
It's today.
Drive you safe.
Today we're going to score 5 goals, and Osimhen is
that's not possible.
You're going to score 4
Shegun,
goals.
it seems you're living in the past. Those days of 5 condos.
All right, let's see how it goes. 6 p.m. Nigerian time.
All right, Shegun, our viewers, this is where we will call it a day on U45 morning show. Thanks for watching. I'm Adenike Weye at Jiboye.
And I am Shegun Dinola at DME.
And from all of us to have a beautiful day and do stay safe. It's a bye for now.